Why does every cartoon nowadays act like it's gotta hide the Da Vinci Code in everything it does? Like, dude, it's Adventure Time, not the Book of Revelations. You don't need a wiki of 500 pages explaining how Finn's hat represents post-war trauma and the collapse of a lemon society. Sometimes a hat is just a hat. But also, yeah, I eat this stuff up. I love lore, okay? Give me the Forbidden Gem archives, the Hidden Sword lore, the 7 timelines of sadness and depression. I love that shit. I love lore. But for this video, let's talk about why every story needs lore now, how it happened, why we eat this shit up, but also how it's low-key messing up how we all write and think of storytelling. It used to be so simple, man. You turn on Dexter's Lab, you see a kid blow up his room with science, roll credits. That's it. Done. Finito. No multi-season arc where we learn Dexter has been secretly building a time machine to stop his mom from dying from a chicken nugget factory explosion. Now, if a cartoon doesn't come with a wiki, a 12-part fan theory, a secret cipher hidden in the background of literally every scene, people go, oh, it's not that deep. We used to get Saturday morning cartoons, now we get Saturday morning dissertations. We're in the lore industrial complex, baby. Every show, every comic, every freaking cereal mascot, they all need a backstory. I get why we love it though. Lore's like caffeine for the brain. You start with a small sip and you're like, oh cool, there's more. And suddenly you're 3 hours deep on a Reddit thread decoding the shape of a background tree. We crave meaning. We're just grade A suckers for connecting the dots. Humans evolved to look up at the stars and invent stories. Now we look at cartoons and do the exact same thing. But there's also that energy where people need everything to make sense. Like, God forbid, if SpongeBob's house layout doesn't match the Krusty Krab's floor plan, someone's making a 30-minute video essay titled The Dark Truth of Bikini Bottom and Spatial Anomalies. Again, I get it though. Lore is like catnip for the brain. Meow, motherfucker. It gives us something to decode, something to feel smart about. It's like watching Gravity Falls and realizing, oh shit, this goofy kid just dropped a little cipher. Now it's summoning the Antichrist, which actually happens in that show. You know it's gotten real when even South Park has hopped onto the lore bandwagon. Like, this show was literally built on chaos with the talking poo and the random celebrity fights. And now we've got continuity arcs. Like, when South Park starts doing lore, you know the world has changed. I love the PC principal storyline, but I remember watching it and thinking, wait, when do we care about continuity here? That's like if Ed and Eddie suddenly dropped a lore episode revealing that the cul-de-sac is secretly purgatory. Well, actually, never mind. That theory probably exists already. Steven Universe is another cartoon that had a hardcore tinfoil death grip on everyone. But can we also talk about how like 70% of that show was just beach episode fillers? I loved it for the world building, but I'd be lying if I wasn't sitting there sometimes being like, oh cool, another jam session with the Fry Guy. Can we get back to the Gem Empire now? That show is the perfect cocktail of slice of life meets deep lore. But it's also proof that too much world building can slow the engine down. Because when you tease us with a space war and then force us to watch Sadie's band practice for 3 fucking episodes, yeah, I start getting a little riled up and vibrating like a kid who just snorted crushed up Smarties in middle school. But when that lore does drop, oh man does it hit. Because you waited for it. Because the buildup is part of the thrill. But then of course you have to wait another 8 months until the next Steven Bomb came out. We had to wait 2 years for the next season of Gravity Falls. Do you remember that shit? Where are my seasoned vets at? I read so many Gravity Fall alternate universe comics and fan theories of what's gonna happen when Ford comes out of the portal. Read them on Tumblr. I did it all to keep myself busy waiting for this fucking long season of a hiatus. And it was actually embarrassing to say that some of those fictional, fanfic stories they actually got me more excited than what actually carried out in season 2. But that's not what we're talking about today. And here's where I gotta own up. I'm not immune to this stuff. I fucking love lore. Call me a hypocrite. I'm that guy who will watch the cartoon and immediately think, okay, but what's the real story behind this? Like, I get into the creative slippery slope too, where if I make a little comic about 2 kids finding a sword, in my head I'm already writing the prequel trilogy and who forged it and what the sword symbolizes and how it ties to the ancient bloodline of sandwich knights or some fucking shit like that. Lore gives story weight. It makes you believe that the world keeps spinning after the episode ends. And as someone writing my own comics, like, yeah, I want that shit. I want people to feel like there's more beneath the panels. But here's where it gets dangerous, my over-analytical spring chicken. When every story needs to connect and explain everything, you start killing the fun. Like, imagine Looney Tunes today. Oh, Bugs Bunny? Yeah, did you know he's actually an ancient trickster god cursed to live a slapstick eternity as punishment for his cosmic hubris? No, motherfucker, he's just a rabbit. Let him vibe. Sometimes mystery is better. Sometimes stories should just exist. Not every throwaway joke needs to become canon. Not every fan theory deserves to be written in stone. And I've been there as a creator, feeling like I've needed to justify everything I've drawn. But sometimes the most powerful thing is just leaving things It's like in horror movies, once you finally see what the monster or creature looks like, it's suddenly less scary, because the more you explain, the less you imagine. Our brains are wired for pattern hunting dopamine. That's why people need to binge shows and not feel emotions, but to collect information. Yeah, we're not watching stories anymore, we're just mining data. Every show's like, hey, wanna enjoy this episode? And we're like, no thanks, I'm just here to predict season 4's villain. It's fucking abysmal. Lore culture has turned storytelling into detective work, and it's exhausting. God forbid, you can't feel anymore, you gotta theorize. It's like if someone gave you a sandwich and you're like, cool sandwich, and they're like, actually, it's a representation of, bro, let me eat. But I just want to say, lore isn't the villain. It's the spice. It just shouldn't be the meal. I think what can make a story feel so powerful isn't how deep the lore goes, but how real the characters feel in those moments. Like, I don't love Adventure Time for all the cosmic stuff and world-building lore. Actually, who am I kidding? That they do a phenomenal fucking job doing that shit. I'm ready for Fiona and Cake season 2, and I want to see what they do to expand all that, so... Where am I going with this? Something about you can have your storytelling, but let the lore be the echo. Like, don't have the lore first. Have the storytelling first, and then the lore be that fun spice after the fact. Because yeah, I'm gonna keep building deep backstories in my comics and characters because I love it. But I'm also reminding myself it's okay to leave some of the doors closed. It's okay to not explain the magic because sometimes the mystery is the magic. Oh, look at that. But maybe I'm just saying that as someone who likes to create stuff too. I get it. World building is fun and the mystery feels important. But sometimes the best stories are the ones that just vibe. You don't always need a prophecy, you just need a feeling. And that's the stuff I want to make as well. Alright, that's my rant for today. Thanks for watching until the very end if you made it this far. Please give this video a like and throw out a sub if you want to see more of my stuff. And if you disagree with any of my lore points in this video and you think it's all mumbo jumbo, then go ahead, go make a character that's just a guy. No destiny, no chosen one, just vibes. We'll see how that story plays out. Alright, go touch grass.